As you know, I do a lot of shark fishing, and the gear can get expensive. I like to use wind-on leaders, which normally cost between $20 and $25 for a quality wind-on leader. I can make them myself. I'm going to start with 400-pound Momoy high-catch leader material, and I'm going to thread that into 200-pound Dacron. So what we have to do is first make a loop to make for the wind-on leader. So what we do here is we have our threading needle and a small piece of copper wire. And I'll show you what we do here. Here's my threading needle, good sized threading needle, and a piece of copper wire. This is going to pull one end of the braid through itself to make a loop for the wind-on leader. So I'm going to get this piece of copper wire stuck inside the threading needle. So we'll do that. Do a little twist. Keep it in place. All right, now we're going to make the loop. I'm going to come back around 18 inches, and I'm going to thread the needle into the hollow Dacron. It should go in nice and smoothly. When I get to the end, when I take this loop in the wire, there you go. Now, snake it in, and there we go. Now I'm going to come out. You'll see this in a second what I'm doing. Because I come out and I go right back in. You'll see this. So what we've done is I've come out. Now I'm going to go back in, and that locks the line in place better than normal. Is the best way to describe that. I'll show you. You'll see. This was getting loose, so I just got to. That's the only problem with these do-it-yourself kits. Is they're not perfect, but you save a lot of money doing it yourself. Remember that. I want to go back in 1/8 of an inch away from where I came out. That's important. A little bit of tension there holds the line from slipping. I don't really know if you need that, but I like it. It hasn't hurt me yet. It's never failed. So now what I'm going to do is pull this through again. And that's it. Pull it right through, pull the needle right through. You'll see the loop form at the end. Don't need this anymore. We have our loop right here, the size we want it. Now you just slide this down. That's it. I have an overlap, about 18 inches overlap.
Hold that.
And right about here is where I had it come out and go back in. And right about here is where it came in and out really quickly, and that helps lock it into place. Now I have about 4 feet from the end of the double line to the end of the braid, and I have to snake the 400-pound leader from one end all the way through. So we're going to do that right now. All right, so what we've done here, we've got our threading needle with the mono stuck inside of it. Basically now we're just going to work it into the hollow core braid. This is 200-pound test hollow core braid. It's the same line they use on the back of a 130 if you're fishing for giant tuna. Most tackle shops will be able to give you some of this without question. This is just stuff they throw away at the end of the year. As you notice, I'm sitting on my couch in my living room and I'm watching TV. Well, I'm not right now, but I watch TV and I make these over the winter time. I've got nothing else going on, so I sit here and I make wind-on leaders. It takes me about 20 to 25 minutes to make one, start to finish, and I can do it while I'm watching a movie. You can almost do it brainlessly, but it's just one of those things that takes time. here I am. I'm pretty much as far into the leader as I can go, so I'm going to pull the threaded needle out and leave inside of it. Oops, that was not good. And I'm going to leave inside of it the leader. Spin it a little bit. The leader's right here. Pull it tight. There we go. Wind-on leader with a loop connection going down with about 3.5 foot of overlap. Now we've got to serve it. We've got to tie it so it doesn't slip. Most of this is going to be taking place, it's not going to slip because of the old Chinese finger torture. Is the compression of pulling on the braid is going to squeeze it tight and it's not going to go anywhere. But I still like to tie it off, and I'll show you how to do that right now. This is where you want to be a little creative. What I've got here is obviously a bucket of old paint and a clip on it. So I'll clip my loop onto the clip. And what I do is I want to put this bucket behind my couch because I want to keep tension on this braid the entire time I'm tying the knots. So we'll put this over here. So I got the bucket on the other side of the couch. The pillow is there just to keep it from digging into my couch cushions. And my goal now is to keep tension on this line. So what we got to do is we have to keep this line tight. So what I've done is I've taken an index card and I folded it in half to give it a little cushion between the vice grips and the leader so you don't kink or cut into the leader. So I'm grabbing it tight, holding onto a bucket of paint, which once again, it just gives me some tension on the line. So what I've done is I've got a lot of tension on this line here, and now I've got to put a series of half hitches starting from the leader side going over the braid and connecting the two to keep tension on the connection here as tight as I can. So take about 5 feet of line. We have 50-pound Tuf-Line XP, which is a good braid to use for this. Now what I'm going to do is basically just get a little bite on the line here, a couple of overhand knots, and pull it as tight as you can. It's going to slide a little bit. About 3/4 of an inch past the end of the braid. And now it's going to be a series of half hitches and half hitches and half hitches. It's just monotonous. This takes a while. And you have to make it tight. What I like to do is at the end, I'll trim it down within about a 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. And I'll use my first couple half hitches to lock that end in place, just to keep it from fraying. And now it just gets monotonous. Now you just go back and forth, back and forth. I like to wear a glove because if you're not pulling it hard enough, it's not doing you any good. And if you're pulling it too hard, you're going to cut yourself. So the glove helps you get it as tight as you should. And now it's just half hitch after half hitch after half hitch until you're about 2 inches up on the braid. It takes about 20 minutes, so we're going to fast forward and show you the completed project. All right, we're winding up this here. Like I say, I was just telling you, kind of a good way to double your productivity in life. You're going to watch the movie anyways, so you might as well do something else that's helping you out. So we're going to end it up here, wrap it around once, twice, 3 times, pull it back on itself, nice and organized, pull it tight, and I like to do that again. 1, 2, 3. Pull it nice and tight. Pull it tight. Now cut it off right at the knot. Then we'll super glue it and call it a day. This is a waterproof super glue called Zap. It's designed for this. It's actually really good. And I try not to get it on my fingertips because then your fingers are slippery for the rest of the night. And there you go. I'll work this into the knot. Give you a little extra protection over the course of time. And that's it. This is the last one we're going to do today, but I still like to work it in to the knot. Can't hurt, you know what I mean? There we go. Use the back of your fingers so they don't get useless by getting super glue all over them. That's it. Simple as that. Wait for it to dry, put it in a Ziploc bag, and say 400-pound Windon shark leader. Done. Today's episode is brought to you by Tuf-Line.